Hey guys, Sergeant Searsy here, and I'm bringing you my Minion Mayhem build. This allows you to put those minions to work on the battlefield and deliver some decisive and killing blows on the enemy. I hope this video helps, and if it does, please like and subscribe. Alright guys, jumping into the build, we're going to start by talking about the gear choice and why. For this build, I focused on Thorns, Intelligence, because that's what increases the Thorn damage, and then anything that increased my ability to stay alive, or for my minions to stay alive, slash have more Thorn damage themselves. So for the helmet, nothing really here. This is going to eventually go away. But I do have some maximum life on kill. This just keeps me on my feet. The gem socketed is Thorns. The chest piece, this is a prime piece of gear in this build. Razor plate, it's the lowest roll possible, and it's still getting the job done. Again, this is for the unique to gain 7,963 Thorns. The gem slots are 250 Thorners each. Moving down into the gloves. We have the Skeletal Warriors inherit 8.4% of my Thorns. That was a big go-to for this, as well as basic skills gain 27% attack speed. This will help me proc the ring, which I will show you later. The legs, these things really just exist to keep me alive. I got up maximum life on here, 43% damage reduction while injured, more armor, 21 damage reduction from distant enemies. The unique here is basic skills grant 20% damage reduction. Again, more damage reduction off of the basic skills. Another reason to use my basic skill. For the boots, we have intelligence 62 and then all stats 21 for a total of 83 more intelligence. I also have the ability to have 2 more skeletal mages, more skeletons, more chances to proc thorns, more DPS. For my weapon, I went with a wand. This was for the very fast weapon speed. This will allow me to proc a skill that I'm going to talk about later, as well as it has 87 intelligence and 30 to all stats for another 117 intelligence. A big requirement for this build also is the aspect here. Thorns damage dealt has a 26% chance to deal damage to all enemies around you. Huge. Get that percentage up eventually. Going on to the amulet, we have more damage reduction as well as amplified damage passive, more intelligence, and 13% summoning skill damage. Another aspect is I can increase 3 skeleton warriors. Another opportunity to proc more thorn damage and just more DPS overall. For the ring, we have a lot of minion life. Thorns for the minions, both the golem and the skeleton warriors, as well as some crit chance, not required, it's just in there. The aspect, each time one of your summoning minions damage is an enemy, they gain 14% attack speed up to 42%. So this is huge. It's just more attack speed, more minions. It just starts adding up slowly. Another big star of the show is the Ring of Medellin, this unique ring. It allows me to proc when I have 7 or more minions. What I do is on lucky hit, I have a 10% chance to empower all my minions, causing the next attack from each to explode for 14.4 thousand damage. This is huge. It correlates to about 20 to 50k depending on it times. I have 13 minions with this, so you do the math. It gets up there really quick. And then it's with each hit, and that's why I have a very fast attack weapon, as well as methods to increase the attack speed of the basic attack. And then for my shield, I'm rocking double thorns. So I got the thorns built into the shield, as well as the thorn trait. More intelligence, ability to gain more fortify, and something to keep me on my feet, which was a recent addition to this build, is each time the bone storm damages an enemy, I gain a barrier equal to 5% of my base life for 10 seconds. Going into the Book of the Dead, we went with the Skeleton Warriors. The reason we wanted this was for the increase in Defender Thorns from 30 to 40%. For the mages, I chose the shadow mages simply because I got away from the cold ones, because if they're frozen, they can't hit me. If they don't hit me, they don't get the thorn proc. So I went with shadow so I didn't keep freezing the baddies. And then for my golem, I went with the blood golem for the increased damage. You could go bone golem and pull this trait so that he goes from 30 to 50% thorns. I've dabbled with that. Both of them are decent. I find the blood golem to just perform slightly better until my thorns get even higher. Going through our skill tree, starting from the top, we went all in on hemorrhage because this is really my only form of attack, and I also like the fact that it generates blood orbs off a 20% chance with each attack, as well as it affords me the ability to fortify with Initiate's Hemorrhage. Moving down for our core attack, we have 1 point in Blight. This is really just so I can get down to this version, which is Supernatural Blight, which allows my minions and myself to deal 15% increased damage. We also went with Hued Flesh just to give me the ability to proc more corpses on the ground in case my skeleton warriors start to go down. Under the Corpse and Macabre skills, we went 3 points on Spiked Armor for the initial Thorns, 1.1k, huge. As well as we put all our points in Skeletal Warrior Mastery to give him more DPS and life. Talking about the curses, we went in on Iron Maiden. This is just for the heal that it provides to keep me on my feet, killing anything within the curse, as well as anytime they deal direct damage to me, they get between 1.5 and 1.8 thousand damage. This is just kind of stacks on top of the thorns, making it really effective. For our passive, we pulled Amplified Damage, just increasing overall damage of cursed enemies. Death's Embrace for close, more DPS, as well as Death Reach for more DPS. Skeleton Mage Mastery, increase the damage and life of your mages. Again, keeping them on their feet and keeping them pumping out as much DPS as we can. In the Corpse and Macabre skills control, we went with the Gruesome Mending. This is just to make it so I heal more. But the reason I really went here was for Transfusion. Blood Orbs also heal your minions for 45% of their health. Another way to just keep my skeleton army on their feet. And another decent one is Drain Vitality. Hitting enemies of blood skill has up to a 25% chance to fortify me off of my base life. Moving down into our ultimate skills, we went with Bone Storm. Again, this is to proc the barrier to keep me on my feet. It doesn't really do much in the terms of DPS in my build, but we got also the damage reduction of 15% while it's up, and the Supreme Bone Storm to get me that 20% critical strike chance. As you saw in the gameplay, I was able to use Bone Storm almost constantly. Almost every fight I was able to proc this. Golem Mastery for 75% increased damage and life. And then we went into Inspiring Leader to increase minions' attack speed. Hellbent Commander, when I'm close to them, they deal 30% more damage. Bond of Essence, every 5 seconds, a Skeleton Priest just heals my minions, keeping them on their feet even longer. And then Death's Defense, my minions can't lose more than 30% of their maximum life for a single damage instance. So this stops them from getting one-shotted by bosses. The key passive I pulled was Colleen's Edict. After 2 seconds of not taking damage, my minions get 15% attack speed. And while I have at least 7 minions, this bonus is doubled. So they're always active. So I'm getting 30%. Going into the Paragon, you obviously have your starting board. Do with this what you will. I would encourage you for your first board to get Cult Leader. Cult Leader, this is what's going to really keep your minions on their feet, give them a little extra damage, but allow them to take hits and just proc all that thorn damage that you've been stacking. So the first one, you're going to want to go towards, not even just the first, all of them when you do this board. You're going to want all of the rare nodes and then as many magic nodes around those rare nodes as you see fit. As you can see here, we have minion damage of 35% and then more minion damage off the magic nodes around it. To the left of that, we have Custody, which is damage reduction for those minions, and around that, we just have more damage reduction for those minions. Moving on to Puppeteer, more minion damage and attack speed. And around those are the magic nodes for more minion damage and minion attack speed. We got all of those. Moving up, we pulled the Infused Warrior for Skeletal Warrior damage and armor. And then we pulled all the rare magic nodes around those for more damage and more armor. We also got the Infused Caster for Skeletal Mage damage. And then We only pulled the nodes that gave us mage damage because I didn't really find the need to get the elemental or the all resistance. We did pull the legendary node. This gives me 45% increased damage for each minion type. And then the armor clad, which is just minion armor and maximum minion life to all the variants. So we got every magic and rare node as well as the legendary node on the puppeteer. After that, it's really dealer's choice, but I went with hulking monstrosities. This just allowed me to keep my golem on his feet as well as do more damage. And then I found some ways to incorporate my own armor into this. So I went with the borrowed strength to give the golem increased damage and increased armor, as well as 1% total armor to me while my golem is increased twice. So that's 2% armor right there. We went with the mutation for more golem damage and more, just more golem damage overall. We did pick the hulking monstrosities legendary node. This gave my damage or my golem 40% more life and increased damage. And then we got the miscreation for more golem armor. Finally, infused golem for even more golem damage. For sockets starting on the bottom, I went with the this glyph socket, the Revenge, for the 10% bonus to all range, all rare nodes within range, as well as the additional bonus. Thorn damage increases all damage on an enemy takes from you and your minions by 1% up to 10% for 10 seconds. I'm dealing with thorn damage all the time, so this quickly caps out. The other socket I pulled was Dead Razor. This is for the additional requirement. Again, whenever your minions deal damage to an enemy, that enemy takes 1% increased damage from you and your minions up to 12% for 10 seconds. So now we are already up to 22% with these two. And then the final socket I have is the Amplify. This increases the damage that my minions and me deal by 10% for anything that's affected by a curse. If I'm fighting it, it's affected by a curse. So that's 32% increased damage right there just from our socketed glyphs. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Enjoy. Woo!
It's exciting to get that dub, isn't it?
Look at that, you're up to 29 too. Get a few levels there.
Beep. Dude, what is with these beers, babe?